Well, hello and welcome to Radical Referrals. My name is Christy Rufino, and I am really excited to share with you some helpful tips about how you can create a very profitable business and create more clients, collaboration, and cash. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm really excited to be here. I'm really excited to share this information. I have been working for a few days, actually a few weeks, to put together the presentation and really do the research to make sure that the systems that I've created for the last few years are the best systems and resources to share to make sure that my students actually get a ton of results. So what I'm asking for anybody on the call right now or anybody in the class is to make sure you set apart time to be completely present together. Grab a piece of paper, take your notes with your phone, whatever you want to do. I like using a journal to keep track of notes. I don't like to be typing while I'm learning. I like to be able to actually physically write. It's a way for me to absorb and learn better. But you know what? I can't learn while I'm watching TV, or I can't learn while I'm listening to music or driving. So I really encourage you to kind of separate from the crazy life that you are in, that I'm in, and just really be present as I go through some of this teaching. So who am I? Basically, my name is Christy Rufino. I'm the founder of the Dynamic Professional Women's Network. And I actually help women unite and conquer in lots of different ways. I have a very strong and vibrant, loyal community of women, and these are all professional women who are building strong businesses together. And they all can do great things. They can do amazing things on their own. They can build successful businesses all by themselves, but they can do it better and faster with the support of other like-minded women. And I also help women share their stories. So part of what we do as a business owner or an entrepreneur is we take our skills and our wisdom to, or even our services and products to be able to help our clients. And our goal is to kind of be distinguished from everybody else in the marketplace, and we want to rise to the top and have the prospects realize we are a better resource than anybody else out there that does the same thing we do. And even though we may be in a field that we are learning the exact same skills and wisdom like other people, the piece that makes us different and that can make us better is our experience that we bring to the table. It's basically the wisdom and the story that we connect with who we serve and how we serve them. So I have been helping women share their stories and using their stories as a platform to connect with their clients and attract clients. And one of the things that when I work with my clients that they don't always realize is when we're working with our clients, we really should be focusing on helping them, talking about them, learning about them, asking questions about them so we can serve them better. So while we're doing that and while we are completely focused on them, they don't typically have a chance to get to know us. And the great thing about having a platform to share our story is that our clients actually get to know who we are. And what that does is it creates loyalty, and it creates that connection and a bond that will hopefully encourage them and really compel them to create that lasting relationship with you, and even more importantly, to become a powerful referral partner for you so they are sending clients your way. So your story is one of the best ways to make that happen. Now, when we get a client from a referral, they are more likely to give you a referral of their friends and family. But sometimes we don't always get a client from a referral. And so by taking your story and getting them to know who you are in your story, that really creates that that loyalty, so they will really know, like, and trust you and be confident and comfortable referring to you. So I also help women elevate their brand. And this is really important because, like I just mentioned, we are not our product and service. We are ourselves, and our brand is what makes us unique. And in order for us to create a viral brand and for people to be attracted to your brand and become a magnetic brand, it's very important to do certain things that will elevate you and really get you seen and heard to a bigger audience. I also help my clients systemize their business. So we have a ton of resources. Our money is a resource, our time is a resource, our skills are resources, our energy, these are all resources. And some people may think money is the most valuable resource, but typically a successful entrepreneur or business owner feels that their time is their most precious resource and their most precious commodity. So it's very important to create systems and tools in our business and create a business framework so we are using our time wisely. We may start out working with our clients on a one-on-one basis, but our eventual goal is to create a business framework so we are working with our clients on a one-to-many model. And so systemizing your business and leveraging our time is so important for us to scale and create a highly monetizable business. And I also help people create and get plugged into their own networking ecosystem. And you may be wondering what a networking ecosystem is, and that is one of the things I'm going to be sharing with our radical referral masterclass today. So a little bit about me, because you may be thinking, well, who the heck is this person and why should I listen to her? Where does she feel that she has the expertise? And this is where I'm going to spend just a few minutes going into more detail about that. So in 2003, I started one networking group. Actually, it was a leads group, and that was started specifically to grow the business I was in at the time. And that was, that was back in 2002 is when I got divorced and had to go out and get a job in the workforce. We had our own business. I did marketing for our business for years and years and years. But then I had to get out and branch out on my own. And so I got in the mortgage industry, which was an amazing job, but I had to go out and find clients because I transitioned from a processor to a loan officer, and it was a strictly commission-only job, and I had to go out and find my clients. So it was a scary move on my part because I was a single mom, and I didn't know how to get clients. I didn't know how to network. I am, and I was and am still, a introvert. So going out and doing that was a very scary thought, but I had to do it to be able to find clients. And I was excited actually to be in that phase of my life where, well, I probably at the time wasn't excited, but looking back, I see that it was really the best thing for me because it really forced me to grow. It forced me to step out of my comfort zone. It forced me to stop being comfortable as an introvert and build some extroverted tendencies and to really just build skills that would help me be a little bit more viable in the world, because you can't really make a lot of things happen when you stay at home and don't talk to people. And that's what I had grown very accustomed to doing. And so I started that one group. That group grew into many groups. Basically, we've grown organically throughout the years. We've been coasting for the last, 16 years. We've been kind of doing our thing. We've done a lot of different events and conferences and summits and retreats and all kinds of things. But really, my whole world has been focused on helping professional women build stronger businesses and make more money. Another thing that I have been doing is helping these same women and actually additional women create more impact in the world by having a book and sharing their story. So this is my book that I just re-released last month, and it is a very, very jam-packed book filled with resources and wisdom and tips and tricks to be able to help entrepreneurs build a five-star network of prospects, clients, and brand advocates. Because really, yes, we want to attract prospects, and yes, we want to turn them into clients. But it's when you can get those clients to become brand advocates, like I just mentioned, where they're out being your walking, talking personal ambassadors, referring clients to you, that is when you find your sweet spot. So that book is awesome. You can get it on Amazon. It has hit #1 in Amazon, so I can officially say I'm an Amazon best-selling author with my own book and these amazing books. So I have produced a series of Overcoming Mediocrity books, which are co-authored books that feature women and their stories. And it is really a great, kind of like the Chicken Soup for the Soul books, where it just is, they are all books that create visibility for our authors, credibility for our authors. It gives them the platform to share their story. It provides wisdom and value out in the world, because the best thing we can do is share our stories to help other people. And we are now interviewing women for our next Overcoming Mediocrity book, Fearless Women. So that's super exciting. I also help people self-publish. So if you are looking to publish a book, I can help you with that, as well as I've had quite a few of our own authors go on to transcend from writing just one chapter to writing their own book and more. So that's super duper exciting. So who is this for? So just to kind of pretty much put that all into perspective, I am really not claiming to know it all. I am not out there claiming to be crazy successful. I am a personal development junkie, probably like you. I've attended so many workshops, classes, conferences, master classes. And throughout that time, I have not only, learned a ton of knowledge, but I've been able to step back and really look at the situation for what it is. And it just kind of surprises me when I'm on a master class with an expert that kind of goes through everything that they have done and claims to be a 7-figure or 8-figure business. And then when the master class is done and they invite you to the next step with them, what that looks like is a strategy call or a discovery call. And it's not with their team, it's with them. And so it makes me kind of step back and think, well, heck, if that person has an 8-figure business, how the heck do they have time to do a discovery call with me when I'm not even a client and I may not become a client? I don't do that. I don't do discovery calls with people because I don't have enough time. And if I had an 8-figure business, I for sure wouldn't have enough time to do that. Or maybe you're in a master class with somebody that's claiming to have a 7 or 8-figure business. And then when they get to the invitation, which honestly, all master classes have some sort of invitation. If they didn't, then it would leave you, the customer or the audience, hanging without any further support. But kind of to back up a little bit, if you're on a master class and somebody claims to be, very successful and have a 7-figure business, but then their call to action or their invitation leads you to a coaching session or a course for only $100, it makes you think, well, heck, how can that really be the best use of that person's time if they're that successful? So I am definitely not claiming to be super successful. I am just like you, trying to figure it out. I am basically building the plane as I fly it. I put these slides together the last minute. I've been working on them for a long time, but of course, the last few minutes, here I am making some last minute tweaks. I think we all do that as entrepreneurs. We're constantly trying to improve and make things better. So I love what I do, but one of the things I know, I don't charge enough. Absolutely. I have a passion to help my clients. I love creating that transformation for them. I'm plagued with doubt and fear every day. Am I on the right track? I have that squirrel syndrome. I don't know if you have that, but where I'm working on a project and I'm moving forward, and then I jump on Facebook and I see somebody doing something different and I'm like, ooh, I like that. And I start shifting and changing, and I've really given myself the 24-hour rule before doing anything new, which has helped me tremendously. I may map out what my ideas are and where my shift may potentially be, but then I always have to give myself 24 hours before I act upon that. And that's really helped me tremendously. So, but you know what? I have those squirrel moments. I wonder and I worry, am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I really helping my clients? Am I really providing them value, or am I being self-serving? And you know what? That is really, I think, as an entrepreneur, we all have those doubts every day, or at least often. But I am absolutely dedicated to helping my people create a very profitable and prosperous tribe, basically create your networking ecosystem so it can become this self-sustaining machine that really goes on beyond you. And that is what I've done a really great job with the Dynamic Professional Women's Network. I've built a very highly functioning automated machine of members and leaders who are out there following the system and the process to really increase their referrals. And we've been doing that for 16 years, but it's been offline. It's been face-to-face. It's been people sitting in the rooms together to support each other and to provide business together. And so my mission for the last few years is to bring this to the online world and to bring this to the digital technology and the digital framework. And there's so much noise out there. There's so many things going on, but how can we extract the things that are important, and how can we spend our time in ways that are going to actually get us results? So I have been so blessed to have mentors that have helped me and to have mentees that I've been able to support. Because you know what? When you're a mentor to somebody else, you're also learning at the same time. You're not only learning more knowledge and more insight, but you are learning to be a better teacher and leader. I've been blessed to have an amazing community of people who are going to support me even when I find I'm having a horrible day. I have a great partnership team with power partners and affiliates and JV partners. I have a mastermind team. I've got a couple masterminds I've been in throughout the years, and I lead masterminds, which is just incredible. And I also have been very blessed to get a ton of visibility with everything I've been doing. So if these are things that you feel are resonating with you, I would encourage you to hang tight and stay with me, because I've got some great information to share with you on how you can build your own networking ecosystem to get radical referral generation. And that is what we're all looking to do. We're looking to get more business, more clients, more referrals, to be able to make more money. All right. So what I would love to have you do is in the comments below, whether it's in Facebook or whether it is directly on this call, please put in the comments your name, your brand, your company, and your location, because we are going to be answering it. The girls on my team are going to be answering your comments. So if there's any questions you have, we want to be able to be on top of that and be able to serve you in the best way possible. And actually, if you can put your time zone in there, that would be great, because sometimes you may put your location as a certain city or state, but we don't always know your time zone. So if you could enter that in there, that would be awesome. All right. So why? Why are you here? What is the promise I am making to you today so that you feel that your time has been spent wisely? All right. So you are looking to have highly qualified leads. You're looking to have referrals for your ideal clients. What is your ideal client? These are people that you love to work with. They are not the PETA clients, which I'm sure you know what your PETA clients are, who they are. Those are the pain in the ass clients. These are the people that you find to be your ideal client avatars. These are just the ones that really need what you have to offer, and they are the ones that turn out to be your biggest fans. You are here to be able to spend more of your time serving your clients, not chasing down new ones. Yes, we have to constantly be out prospecting, and yes, we have to have those sales conversations, but that needs to be a small percentage of your time, and you need to spend like your time serving your clients and fulfilling your orders with them, whatever that looks like. Not out there marketing, not out there, doing all these things to bring clients in, but to serve them. And when you have your networking ecosystem, you're able to do that because your clients are already there. Your prospects are already there. Their ears are open. They need what you have, and it makes the whole process much faster, and it allows you to focus more time on helping them. You would like to be able to align with like-minded people and collaborate in ways that are going to create opportunities for everybody. This is where we get into our JV partnerships and our affiliate relationships. This is what we can do to create those strategic alliances that will help both parties get from here to there much faster. Again, you want to be able to have your ideal clients. You want to be able to bring them in so you can spend your time providing the right resources for them. And then, of course, you want to be building your business so that you get paid. And I think sometimes women have a hard time with that. We want to serve first, get paid later. And that is a great perspective to have from your heart, but it's not a great perspective to have from your head, because if you're not getting paid, you can't keep doing what you're doing. Just like in an airplane, the first thing they tell you is to put on your own oxygen mask before you put the oxygen mask on for your children. And that may seem like completely not natural, because we want to help our children first, but if your children get their mask on and you never get yours on, and then their mask falls off, there's nobody there to help them. So you have to get your mask on first. You have to get paid first so you can keep helping the clients that you have, and you can keep getting more clients to be able to continue helping. So does that resonate with you? Is this why you're here? Well, I promise we're going to get to all of this. And then the ultimate result is for you to create more balance in your life, to have more freedom, to make decisions based off of what you would like to do, not what you have to do, so you can have more joy in your life and just really spend your time in ways that will build a bigger legacy. You know what? People are not going to remember you by your business. People are not going to remember you by the things you did. They're going to remember you by how you made them feel. And when we're talking about our family and our friends and our loved ones, we sometimes lose that piece because we're spending so much time building our business. We're spending so much time on our mission that we're not unplugging enough to be able to spend that quality time with our family, or we don't have the resources to do that. Wouldn't it be amazing for you to have the resources to every year, if not multiple times a year, take your whole family on a all expenses paid vacation? Maybe go to Disney World. Maybe rent a house and have everybody come together and just spend time laughing and playing games and drinking wine and just playing. I don't know. Wouldn't that be awesome to be able to do that and to have the freedom to do that? Well, that's been my goal, and that is why I do what I do, to be able to do things like that. So what is your why? What I would love to have you do in the comments below is, even if you're watching the replay, please, in the comments below, if you are watching this in a space that has comments, not everything, like either you're on our website or you're on Facebook, wherever you're watching this replay, if there is a space for comments, right below in the comments, what is your why? Like, why do you want to have more freedom in your life? What do you want to do? What is your big goal? Like, if you could have this one thing that you're able to do every day, every year, whatever that looks like, just put your sky is the limit dream in the comments below. And then what is the one thing you want to get out of this training? Because I shared a little bit about what my promise is, what I'm going to provide you, but what is the one thing that you felt from all of that would be the most helpful for you? Put that in the comments below, because that's going to really help me as I continue on with this training to really gauge which piece my clients find the most valuable. And if I have a lot of people really looking in one particular space that they are looking to get help in, that will really help me guide what additional products I put together beyond what I already have. So please, I would really appreciate you putting the one thing that you would like to get out of this training in the comments below. All right. All right, well, let's keep going. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. I am really even more excited to keep sharing with you some of these great tips that I have already mapped out. So let's look at that. So we talked about our why, we talked about who you are, what you're looking for, what I'm providing, but what does that really look like? How am I going to give you that solution? So the first thing I want you to keep in mind is that you need to be more polarizing. I am giving you permission to be unique, to not copy what everybody else is doing. You know what? Sometimes we may take what somebody else is doing and customize it, and that's okay. You know, even Tony Robbins, which is, I think he's kind of recognized as the #1 guru out there in a lot of different spaces, but he even says that, you know what, don't recreate the wheel. Go out and take what somebody's already done and customize it for yourself. Do that, but don't go out and be vanilla. I hope you've ever heard of that, but being vanilla and just being plain and just blending in, you know what, that is something that I've had a hard time with, because that, as an introvert, it's natural for me to want to blend in, but that is not going to get me any results. That is not going to give me the platform for my clients to see me. And if they don't see me, how can I help them? How can I be magnetic? How can I, attract them if they don't see me? So what is it that you find that is the thing that just really irritates you? Like, what is your point of view on this, your subject area matter? Like, what is it that makes you different? Whatever that is, figure that out and leverage that. Really find out how you can best set yourself apart from your competition. Then you need to leverage everything. You need to leverage systems. There is an app for just about everything. There are tools and resources out there to leverage your back end office, to streamline everything, to utilize everybody's time very wisely. You may need to leverage people. So, you should be focusing on the areas that you specialize in. Here, let me give you one example. So part of our business is to help people self-publish. And my biggest goal is for every one of my clients to have a book, because a book is the ultimate positioning tool. It's what helps you make a bigger impact and help you take your signature message and put it down into a book form, which allows you to do a ton of things with. But when I'm working with my clients, yes, they could go figure out how to self-publish, but that is not the best use of their time. And so that is why we love helping people self-publish. We're not a traditional publisher, because that's a whole other ball of wax, and we don't want to get into that. There's a lot of things about working with a traditional publisher that I don't like, but for entrepreneurs and for for subject area experts, subject area experts. I don't know why I had a brain fart there for a moment. They need to have a book, but they don't need to learn how to self-publish. Why should they spend, I'd say probably to learn all of the pieces, at least a good 10, 15 hours to make sure that you've got all of your bases covered, probably even more than that, because Amazon has gotten very, very challenging with their KDP division. They don't, for their on-demand printing, they don't do create space anymore. They merged everything together, and let me tell you, challenging is not the right word. You have to go through their upload approval process multiple times, and it's just insane. But regardless, so let's just be conservative and say it will take them 10 hours to not only learn how, but to implement all of the pieces of just getting their book done. But for that 10 hours, say if they hired me to self-publish for them, whatever that looks like, say at the very most it's $3,000, they could take that 10 hours and use it to serve their clients and make way more than $3,000 and do something that they actually enjoy doing. So unless they're looking to become a self-publishing expert, it's silly for them to learn how to do it on their own. And so that's a great example of leveraging your resources. You should spend your time doing what you do best, doing what you make the most money at, and hire out the areas that you don't do well and that other people can get you better results. And for goodness sakes, you may do it yourself and not do your copyright correctly. You may not do pieces correctly, and then it will cost you more problems down the road. So leverage your resources, leverage your people. So building your networking ecosystem is all about leveraging your people. So that way all of us in your team can all accelerate better. And I'm really going to dive into that into my radical referral formula. But I just want you to realize that it's so important to leverage. And finally, it's so important for you to monetize. And what that means specifically is you have to build a business model that's going to actually create revenue for you. If you don't make money, again, like we said before, you can't keep serving. But if you're building your business in a way that is not going to bring you money, that is basically a hobby. And so, and it's not, you may be doing something that's going to create money, but is it the right kind of money that you need to get that freedom? And that's where it's really important to take your action steps that are in alignment with your profitable business model. Whatever that looks like, you need to have multiple offerings in your funnel so your prospects can come in you work with a bunch of them at one time in an offering that you are not personally working with them. So that could be a course, a class, an online class. It could be a membership where they're paying anywhere between $9.99 a month to at the most $99 a month. So that's that group offering where you can basically support a bunch of people with an automated teaching training system that you have in place. Then as you go up your profitable business ladder or pyramid, then you have a more expensive offering that's anywhere between $100 and $500. This gives them knowledge, wisdom training with a little bit of support. So that's your group coaching programs. These are the group courses. This is where you get people in a course that not only gives them teaching, but it gives them that weekly support or online support or whatever levels of support they get with that. That's that whole next level of an offering. And then as you move up your pyramid, then you get a higher priced item that not only gives them knowledge, support, but it also gives them accountability. And this is where you would maybe have a one-on-one coaching program or a one-on-one coaching package. Whatever that is, it gives them more access to you. It's going to cost them more money, but you're spending your time in a way that's going to give you a better ROI. And then as you keep going up your revenue pyramid, you would have experiences. This is where you would have your retreats and your high-end things that's not only wisdom, knowledge, support, accountability, but it also gives your client an out-of-the-world experience. So if you don't have your profitable business model in place, that is something I would love to help you with. Not only putting that in place, but making sure that you go along with that throughout the whole process so it grows in a way that's very strategic. So I'm not here to talk about how I can help you. I'm here to tell you how you need to put these pieces in place and how they need to be important for you as you're building your radical referral networking ecosystem. Okay, so the bottom line is you need to get out of your shell and give yourself permission to become a mini celebrity online or offline. Whether you're speaking on stages or you're speaking into a microphone, you need to get out there and position yourself in a way that people will want to follow you. But the big thing is that you need to do it in a very strategic way. So what I am going to share with you is my wish that when we're all done, you are going to stop networking. You are going to start building your network or building your networking ecosystem. But the big warning is that your money is in your list. And whether or not you're speaking on a stage or you're speaking online, you have to do everything that is going to help you build a very engaged following with your list, which would be your email system. You may be online, you may be really, really strong on Instagram, maybe Facebook is your jam, whatever that looks like. Maybe you love speaking, but if you are not doing that in a way that's going to bring people out of their world and into your world, where you have their contact information, where you can engage with them, where you can create dialogue with them, then you know what? You are wasting your time. So how do we build a list? What do we do to make sure that we don't get caught up in this endless kind of craziness of doing things that aren't going to help you accomplish your goals? So it's very critical, first, that you have a lead magnet. You may have one lead magnet, you may have multiple lead magnets. What kind of lead magnets would that be? That would be like an opt-in, that would be something to help you build your list. It could be a free gift. It could be a challenge. This could be basically a freemium. I was listening to a training just recently from, let's see, who was that? Jennifer Kem, and she really explained it really well. She calls it her pink spoon method or her pink spoon strategy. And it's really like you go to Baskin Robbins. And everybody knows when you see that pink spoon, so maybe you get out of your car and you see a pink spoon on the ground, you're not going to think it's any place else but Baskin Robbins because they're known for their pink spoons. You walk into Baskin Robbins, they give you a little teeny pink spoon, they give you samples, and then you choose what you want. And that is what your lead magnet is. It's meant to be your business pink spoon. So you're going to want to have a couple depending on what areas of your business you're focusing on, but it gives your prospects the chance to taste you. And when they taste you, they may say, oh, I don't like this flavor. And they move on to the next person, which is okay. You don't want them on your list if they're just going to opt in and fall asleep. You want engaged people on your list. You want people that will taste what you provided with your lead magnet, and they raise their hand and they say what they want more of you. So you need to make sure you're very, very strategic in what your lead magnet would be. You need to really know who your tribe is. You need to identify your ideal client, as I mentioned before, so that way you can attract your tribe of people that will want to buy from you and that will want to be brand advocates for you. I just recently, as I mentioned, have transitioned from offline tribe building to online tribe building. And so I have never had an open Facebook group. All of our Facebook groups have been closed groups with just our membership. And so doing this open group is a completely different strategy for me. And what I've found, and I'm actually working on a couple of things, and it's really cool because I'm actually journaling my progress from when I started a little over a month ago. I mean, I had an open Facebook group that people would join, but I never did anything in it. It was just like LinkedIn. I've got thousands of people connected on LinkedIn, but they're just collecting there. I'm not doing anything. They're not doing anything with me. It's just there. And that's what I had with this Facebook group. It was just a way for me to, I don't even know why I did it because I never really did anything with it. But I did have a few hundred people in there that have been like coasting, and they found it and they just joined, but I don't know why they stayed. And they're probably not very engaged. But just over a month ago, I started implementing a strategy, and it's not, I'm not following a system from somebody else. I am creating my own system based off of what I found works and doesn't work in the different groups I've been in. So I've been doing research to come up with my own formula. All right, why was I sharing this? Okay, squirrel moment. Okay, so building that Facebook group, I've been journaling it so then I can go back and look at what worked and what didn't work and then teach that. And I can't wait to teach that because that will allow the people in my tribe to really implement their own strategy based on what works and doesn't work from my experience and just like run with it. So I love that. But the thing that you need to do is make sure that you identify who your tribe is, how you can help your tribe, so then that way they become like massive fans. And then basically you want those fans to become clients. And to do that, you have to be very clear on your message. So once you know who your client is, you have to make sure all of your messaging is very, very specific to that person. And honestly, like I just said earlier, I'm figuring it out. I've been figuring it out. And I have messed up horribly in 2018 trying to do something that didn't work because my messaging was off. I wanted to build an online group, and I was actually for a couple of years I've wanted to build an online group, and I've dabbled at it and I've started, and we had our very first online chapter about 3 years ago, and I was excited about it, but it didn't work. And why did it not work? Because my messaging was off. I was speaking to the wrong person. I had become so accustomed to speaking to the woman that wants to build an offline network. They want to build relationships with people in their town. I know how to help that person. I know what their pain is. I know what their solution is. And our system, like if you want to get into an offline referral generation, local leads group, and there isn't one in your area, or even if there is one in your area and you want to have one that works better, launch a DPWN chapter if you're a female, of course, because our system is insanely successful. So I know how to do that. And we've got everything in place. Basically, it's a chapter in a box to take that and run with it. But I had been taking that same messaging and using it to build an online network, and it fell on deaf ears. The people that needed to hear it didn't hear it because I wasn't speaking to them. I didn't talk about the pieces that they were struggling with. And honestly, if you're building an online network, if you're into digital marketing and you're looking to build a following online, what is the biggest struggle that we have? It's all of the noise out there. It's having the right messaging. It's finding our ideal clients and finding our ideal prospects and turning them into clients. It's making sure that the effort that we're spending online is going to get us results, that we're not spending energy just with a bunch of people that want a bunch of free stuff. Because you could spend every day for the rest of your life helping people that want free stuff, and they're extremely grateful, but you're going to lose your house. You're going to eat ramen noodles because they're never going to pay you. And so how do you find those ideal paying clients? The only way to do that is to get so on key with your messaging that you speak loud, they hear you, you help them, and they're so happy. So that's what you need to focus on is your messaging. And finally, you need to have systems, almost like I said early, with leveraging. Okay, how am I doing on time? Okay, I'm doing actually really good. Yay. All right, so let's keep moving forward because what I want to get to is the meat and potatoes of what it is that I'm sharing with you today. And it is all about how do you build traffic? How do you get those radical referrals? Now, one of the things that I didn't really share with you, and I probably should have, I should have created a slide. It's just so hard because I would love to be visually in front of you because I love that, but you don't want to see a talking head. So sometimes slides are better, but then other times, they're not always the best. But really what you want to do is if you look at the different ways to build your business, you have to always be thinking of launching and putting people into a funnel, taking them on their prospect journey, and then taking them on their customer journey. So there's like a whole process and a whole system to make it work. But the end result is that we have to have that traffic in order to get people into those journeys with us, whether it's a prospect journey or a client journey. So what are the different ways you can get traffic? Well, let me tell you. All right. The first way is for you to get organic traffic. And organic traffic is great because that is where you're going to have the most credibility. That is the way people are going to really trust you. This is where you get clients through, let me think. This is where you get clients through being engaged in a Facebook group. This is where you get clients from people you meet at a networking event. This is where you get clients speaking. You go out and speak. That's organic traffic. This is where you're out doing things and the prospects are getting to know you. Then they are getting to like you. They find value in what you're offering, and then they want more. Having a book is a great way of having organic traffic. It is doing webinars, organic traffic. There's a lot of things that you can do where you show up either on stage or online to provide value to an audience. And then the ones that really find tremendous value in what you provided, they raise their hand and they say they want more. And then you send them on your prospect journey, which basically is about creating sequences, email sequences. And that's another whole class that I'm not going to get into. But to break it down simply, there are a few email sequences that you need to put together. And one of them, I don't know if you've ever followed Russell Brunson. He is the creator of ClickFunnels. He's got a bunch of awesome books out there, .com secrets, expert secrets, and he really talks about creating different email sequences. I think he calls one the Seinfeld sequence and a soap opera sequence. So these are just a series of emails that will basically flood your client's email box with conversations from you. And for me, email tends to be a bunch of noise. But the thing is, whatever you're doing online, you've got to get them into your email. Because if Facebook shuts down tomorrow, if Instagram shuts down, well, you know what? Heck, I just lost 3 Facebook pages. And it was partly my fault, but partly how Facebook is set up, because Facebook, I don't even know when, but if you've got business pages and you do ads, they actually create a business manager account for you that manages the business aspect of Facebook. Now, Facebook claims that they're a social community, but they're a business community now. They are getting the majority of their revenue from advertising. And so they have these business managers that you do all of your back end stuff for if you're using Facebook as a business tool. Well, somehow, I don't think I did it, but somehow there were 2 business managers created for me, one from my name and one from my company. And so I had my pages in both, and it was very confusing, and ads would be coming into one manager and not the other. And so I basically deleted 3 of the pages from one business manager with the intention of moving them to my other business. So basically I wanted to condense them, and I hit delete and it gave me a warning. So do you want to delete this from your business manager? And I said yes, because it didn't ask me if I wanted to delete my page. But what happened is it deleted my page, or it basically kicked me out of having access. Even though I created that page as me, myself, and I, like my personal profile, because I deleted it from that page manager, I lost complete control. So the reason why I'm telling you this story is I have been, not, I want to say fighting, because there's no fighting involved, because with Facebook, it is what it is. But we go back and forth. I've been going back and forth with help question messages to try to get them to help me. And every time I send them a response, they send me back the exact same response. And I feel like I'm going in this crazy circle. But I ended up by having to have this big, long, notarized document with all this stuff filled out and sent that over yesterday. So I'm hoping to get that resolved. But if I don't, I've got 3 business pages that I've spent years developing with. One of them had 6,000 likes on it. And, that could be huge in the business world, because if I do an ad, that's 6,000 potential people seeing it or more. I mean, basically it's how you're targeting, and there's a lot of different variables. But the reason why I really want you to recognize this is that everything you do online could be gone in a second. So you've got to get emails, and you've got to get traffic out of that world and into your world. So you are going to want to basically move forward by building organic traffic, as I said, by the different things that you do everywhere. Speaking, doing videos, your podcast, doing email newsletters, all your social media posts, blogging. If you're a blogger, that's a great way to get organic traffic. Podcasting is right now huge, and it's only going to get bigger. And we are really in the process right now of setting up our podcast. It doesn't make sense for every business at every time, but really, you start building your podcast audience, that could be a huge, huge asset for you. But it doesn't happen easily. You can't just say, all right, I have a podcast and expect followers. So there's a little work to be involved. So don't go on a squirrel moment until your business is ready. And I've basically spent the last year and a half getting ready for my podcast. So this is not a spur of the moment thing. It has been a strategic part of my plan. But once that happens, that's going to be a huge stream of organic traffic. Other people's lists, other people's engagement. So I'm in a couple other Facebook groups, and one particular that I've paid to become a leader in that group, or an influencer in that group, if you want to say. And it's worth every penny of my investment, because it has done a huge job of getting me organic traffic that's turned into really ideal clients. So think about where your people hang out and get engaged, whatever that looks like, but you have to bring them into your world. You have to get them onto your list, and you need to really, really focus on that. But keep in mind, it really is the way that's going to give you the best brand credibility and trust, but it does take a while. The next thing is you can focus on having paid traffic. Now, paid traffic is something that you really don't want to spend a lot of time on or money on until your business has really started getting wildly successful. Unless you're, I'd say, in the six figures, you're 100,000 a year or more gross, I would have a very small budget for your advertising. There's so many expenses that go into play when you're building a digital business, an online business. And I honestly love the more simplified approach, which is what we're doing with our building your networking ecosystem. It really allows you to be simpler and not put all of those pieces into place. But there is still something to be said for paid traffic, because it's faster. It allows you to test what works and what doesn't. It gives you results to help you build your list. It helps you get in front of an audience faster, but keep in mind, it's a cold audience. So you're going to have to do more in step 2 to warm them up and to take that big group of people and weed out the people that aren't a good fit, and only keep the ones that are either potential clients now or in the near future. So different places that you can go to build paid traffic would be Facebook ads, SEO on your website, Google AdWords, pay-per-click ads, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest. You can actually buy lists. So list buying is a way. I don't know if anybody does chunky mail, the old-fashioned mail, but that direct mail campaigns, that's another way. I think direct mail campaigns can be good for certain things, but you really need to be very careful what you spend your money on, so then that way you're getting that result. For me, it's very easy to say, okay, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to do this. And I had to stop doing that and step back and say, okay, what is the ROI that I'm going to get on that decision? How much am I going to return, and how long is it going to take me? So you really need to weigh that out before you jump into anything. And then the third and final way for you to get traffic is leveraged traffic. And this is where the magic is. This is where you are going to just see your business skyrocket, because now you're able to build partnerships with people who are going to help you achieve your goals, and as you help them. And our community, the Dynamic Professional Women's Network, is a referral-based leads group that is industry exclusive, and we have built our foundation on the values taught by Bob Berg and the Go Giver book. And it is all about serving first, not going into the group with your hand out expecting anything. We want to have faith that whatever we do, we're going to get back tenfold. You know what? It's like the law of the universe. Whatever you put in, you're going to get out in spades. But if you go into anything with the wrong intention, it's not going to work. So what you want to do is you want to think, who can you build your power team with? That is one of the things that we have really, really just nailed. Putting together the right group of people, and my client avatar is women. So I'm sorry if you're a man and you're on this class. Yes, these strategies will work for you as well. But who we cater to and who we provide resources for are women. And yes, we have had men be a part of what we do, and we would welcome any man, but we just don't want you to get offended. I apologize if I keep saying women and you keep thinking that I don't care about you, because I do, of course. Love men. All right, so what we're looking to do and what we have done is we've built an infrastructure to create these leveraged groups. Basically, it's kind of this hybrid community with pods of women that really work together like a mastermind group, like a mentor team, like an advisory board, marketing partners, strategic implementation partners, wisdom partners, all of these different things that can be done together to create that teamwork experience with that teamwork result. So basically, when you build your leveraged tribe, and honestly, my book is called Treasured Tribes, and a lot of what I have and what I teach is in that book, but we've kind of gone to that next level. This is kind of like a high end and up level type of experience where we're creating these leveraged groups, these leveraged tribes. And I would love to get your input on what we call them. Right now, we're calling them our Diamond Mastermind Circles, but they're really not a mastermind because there's so much more than a mastermind. So you're going to get unequivocal brand leverage by being in your leveraged tribe. There's no better way to expedite and elevate your business and get you a ton of exposure than you can when you create that leveraged tribe. And our Overcoming Mediocrity books is the prime example of this, because having a book is great. Honestly, having a book should be your number one goal. But unless you have a huge traffic audience or a huge audience, who's going to see your book? How are you going to get your books out of your boxes and into your hands of your clients? It's so hard. And if you don't, maybe you have a good budget, then you've got to find the right marketing agency that's going to put the right launch sequence in place that's going to allow you to build your audience and build book sales by building a list. You know, you can't go get book sales alone. That's not going to really make you a ton of money. You need to have book sales that include list building strategies. So our Overcoming Mediocrity books, yes, I had a brain fart there. So what's great about our co-authored books is that our authors get massive exposure. They're spending a little bit of time writing a 2,000 or 4,000 word story. The investment is nominal compared to what it costs to have your own book. The energy that you spent to write your story is far less than it would take you to write a whole, 50,000 word book. And then when all is said and done, you have this team of people that are like-minded that become your leveraged tribe, and you have exposure beyond what you could do on your own, because now you have at least with our books, we usually have anywhere between 20 and 25 women sharing their stories in our books. It's basically a co-authored book. But you have your story in that book. And what's great about it is you've got 20 other women, 20 plus other women getting your story in front of their audience. So the reach is just insane. And if you have the call to action in your story put together correctly, you'll bring every one of those people out of that book into your world, onto your list, and you really spent hardly any money and any time on it. So I'm not sharing this to sell you a spot in our Overcoming Mediocrity book, but I'm using that as an example of how to build leveraged traffic, how to build your leveraged tribe, and how to get exponential results marketing a book. And then if you have the correct strategy, which is what we did with one of our authors, Shannon Farabee, which actually she was on one of those slides. She wrote her chapter in our book. She then went on to write her own book in a really great framework. It was like brilliant, and she put it together very quickly. We helped her with that. And then we timed the launches so they both launched in the same month. So we launched Overcoming Mediocrity, positioned her to a huge audience. A few weeks later, she launched her book. It became an Amazon bestseller without our help. And we've got this great strategy to get our books to become #1 Amazon bestsellers, but it's a teamwork approach. And we have a strategy that we've refined very well over the years, but she did it on the coattails of our book. Yes, she's got a great audience, so she may have done it on her own. I don't know. But the bottom line is she became an two-time Amazon bestseller in 1 month based on this leveraged marketing strategy and the community of people that she built as being a part of our tribe. And now we're excited. We signed a contract yesterday to help her put together her next book, which is amazing. So you can look her up. I think I'm not going to go back to the slide, but it's Success Unwrapped on Amazon. And the next book she's doing is going to be a Success Unwrapped for Leaders, because she is a leader in the direct selling industry. So look her up, Shannon Farabee, be friends with her. She's awesome. And actually, let me add one more caveat to that little success story. I should have put a slide in here to show her off because she is awesome. But I found her, and this is like a great example of leveraging other people's communities. So I found her because, as I mentioned, our organization is built on the framework of Bob Burg's Go Giver philosophy. And Bob has been an amazing mentor of mine for many years. Gosh, since the beginning. So 2005. So over 10 years, 10, 14 years, I don't know, whatever, forever. Seems like he's been a good friend forever. He's awesome. But I connected with Shannon in his community. And that's how she joined our co-authored project. She did her own book, and now a year later, maybe, she now has been asked by Bob to be a leader in his business. She's actually on his team now. So that just is and she's still building her own team. She's a rock star. But that is just a great example of how leveraging your tribe is so, so, so valuable. All right. So leverage traffic through affiliate promotions, JV partnerships, telesummits, sponsorships, mastermind, speaking on other people's stages, live events, just doing different things to create your team of people that become your business partners. And so what we have done in our community, as I mentioned, we are in the middle of transitioning to add virtual communities. So if you want a local community, great, we'll help you with that. But more importantly, if you're looking to build a virtual tribe, I don't have a bunch of slides selling you anything. It's just inviting you to go to our website, ourdpwn.com. Click the Start Here button right there. You'll see the different memberships. We have a virtual membership that gives you access to all of the trainings we're doing. But more importantly, you'll see what we are are calling right now our Diamond Virtual Mastermind. And all you have to do on there is apply. We are not right now, actually, we probably never will want money up front, because what we are doing is we are putting people together based on who they are, what their business is, what their needs are, who their audience is, and we are putting together a big mastermind group, and then separating people into elite groups, being more targeted and more specific. But not only are these mastermind groups, which are also your success teams, your leveraged tribes, but with that, you're also getting exposure. And this is the brilliant piece of the radical referral system, is creating this community of your business that includes your audience and your experts. So let me explain that a little bit. So in the coaching world, coaches have various offerings: group coaching, one-on-one coaching, and then they basically train people to become coaches that teach that coaching formula. And so ideally, whatever business you're in, you can do the same thing. You create your membership community where you've got people in there. This is your low end piece of your value ladder. Then you create a higher end piece. And then you're basically the top of your pyramid, or towards the top, is where you have your mentors or your experts that are now serving your community alongside you. And you don't have to be a coach to make this happen. There's so many different business models that this works with, that now you're not the only one providing value. Your team is providing value. They're getting an audience. Your audience is getting served. Everybody's happy. Everybody's making money. And it is really an awesome way to grow a very successful business. So let's start by joining one of our mastermind success circles, leverage tribes. I don't know, but in the comments below, what do you think we should call it? We'd love to have your input. Apply. It may take 2 or 3 weeks for us to match you up with the right person, but we will definitely be saving all of your information, and we will be getting back to you with that perfect match. So thank you. I really appreciate your time. It looks like we have ended about 15 minutes early. I would take questions, but being that this is it's going to be a recording for later. I think what we're going to do is end the call. We will come back with additional questions in a separate recording as we continue to hear from you and read all of our comments. We'll come back with maybe a Q&A time. So stay tuned. If you don't have that on here now, if you hang tight and that doesn't start, then come back later, because that is my mission, is to create question and answers to hopefully help you make a good decision. But thank you so much. I will include the link to apply to our success circles, and I will look forward to seeing you on the inside. Again, Christy Ruffino saying thank you, and have an amazing rest of the day.